So I'm going to go ahead and go through kind of a little bit about the program, a little bit of myself and what I do here. So this is one of our posters. You'll see these posted in Spanish and English at the front desk. They have it behind just in case victims come in, when I'm not here or anything, they're able to see that there's an application they can download on their phone. They can go online and request services. So my name is Molly. I am bilingual, so I am able to assist Spanish-speaking victims as well, and I help victims of violent crimes. So what I do is I'm here stationed, I'm out of the city attorney's office, but I'm located here at Mission Division. So I'm here Monday to Friday, 8 to 5, upstairs in Detective. So I'm on the second floor. If anyone ever needs my sister or anything, usually they can call me. I do accept walk-ins. However, I'm the only person here for the program, so it's only me. So if I have 5 people come at the same time, either they're gonna have to wait or come back. So that's the only thing, but you can always call me ahead of time and schedule something. That way I hold a slot for them. But you can always go upstairs to the front desk, say you're here to see Molly, and then they'll call me and let me know. But what do we do primarily? We've been around since 1980 from the city attorney's office, and we're at every single LAPD station, including all 4 traffic divisions. We're also co-located at the city attorney's office, as well as the family justice centers. And the family justice centers are really cool facilities where they have, that's where they do the sexual assault exams. They do the therapy, and then they have law enforcement stationed there as well. So we're stationed kind of everywhere in LA City. And from that, we assist victims of violent crimes, whether it's a robbery, a homicide, let's say a type of DUI incident, ADW, which is kind of high here in Mission. You have a lot of assaults where people are beaten up or robbed. And usually with a lot of robberies that we see here, it's not here, give me your stuff. It's they get beat up, and then they take their stuff. So a lot of the time there is a lot of injury. I don't see too often where there isn't an injury. So when there isn't, there's also emotional trauma, because that happened in their home, it happened in their neighborhood, and now they're afraid, or it happened in their job, and they don't feel comfortable anymore. They develop a type of post-traumatic stress from this, and emotional trauma. So our program, we help them do the victims of crime application that covers mental health. It will cover physical injuries, so if they were stabbed, if they were shot, beaten up, anything like that, our program can assist with that as well. Relocation, that's something I work a lot with gangs, with sexual assault, and with domestic violence. A lot of the times, if they're being stalked, if they need to get away from their abuser, or if they were a victim of a gang crime and they live in Mission and that's where the gang is and they need to relocate, sometimes we assist with that. I have been able to assist people with relocation to get out of the city for their safety, because they've come back and they've testified and stuff like that, or the people were not caught. So that's a big thing that we assist with too. Home security is another thing. Sometimes people don't want to leave their homes or their own houses and can't leave. So if they're a victim of a crime, let's say they were robbed in front of their house, we can assist with getting home security done for their house. It's on a reimbursement basis, but we cover up to $1,000. So they got cameras or got reinforced doors or bars on their windows. That's something we can cover as well. Also, the criminal justice system. A lot of people in the community do not know how the criminal justice system works. What happens when you make a report? What's the next step? What happens when it gets presented to the DA or the CA? What do the charges mean? Sometimes people don't understand that, or don't understand also civil law, the difference between civil law and criminal, which is 2 different things. So our job is to also guide them and teach them about what the next step is, what they can do, what are their resources. Liaison 2, I will assist victims who come in. I get a lot of calls sometimes, or even from churches. They'll contact me and say, hey, I have a victim here at our church. She never filed a report. She's afraid to. It's a domestic violence or some. Even this past week, I got one that the mother went to the church and had said her daughter had been raped. And they sent me an email that can you please contact? And so they have never reported it, and this happened in 2012. So it's been a long time, but the church knew this person needs help. Let us contact someone to get them help, and they did. They contacted us.
Why did they not report after 6 years ago? Why did they not report?
There's a lot of reasons. Crimes are not, especially with sexual assault. Sexual assault crimes are not always immediately reported, especially when the person's a minor, because of intimidation, threats. A lot of kids, when they deal, and primarily deal a lot with sexual assault, children feel guilty, they feel ashamed, they feel that it's their fault. They're afraid to tell their parents. sometimes they were threatened. So a lot of the times, we do not get a reporting right away. It takes years sometimes. We have a lot of cases where it takes years for them to build up that courage to come and report that.
Right.
And for this particular person, she had just told her mother. Her mother didn't even know it had happened at a church. So someone, abused the church, went there and abused his child, and now they're coming forward, and she needs help, And luckily, with our program, when a crime like this happens to a minor, they have until their 28th birthday to apply with our program. Usually it's a 3-year statute. They have 3 years from the date the crime was reported to apply, but when they're a minor and it's just a type of crime, we know that it takes a really long time. So they have until their 28th birthday to apply with us. And for her, maybe the physical damage is gone, but emotionally, she's still scarred. So that's when our program can come in, get her set up with victims of crime, give her resources. There's a lot of resources that we may cover, we may not. There is horse therapy that sometimes we're able, if they pay out of pocket, we're able to cover a certain amount of sessions. Sometimes they're like, you know what, I don't want to talk to someone, I want to go to a group therapy. Or I want to do something, you know what, I like art. Or there's facilities that have therapy dogs where they can go to the facility and they have therapy dogs with them so they can do the sessions. So my job is to get all the resources, sit down with the person, analyze what they need, what are their short-term needs, their long-term needs, and then get them set up. Sometimes I will see a victim once, and that's it. And sometimes I've been working with one, it's been a whole year, and we talk to each other almost every week. And just to check in on the case, because the case is ongoing, because after the crime, you have sometimes a trial, you have the prelim hearings, and I will go and attend with them. I will go to court with them to be there for emotional support. Judges sometimes let me take the stand with the minor, their child, and I can sit up there with them because the parents are not allowed to. So that's a little bit of what I do. We do a lot of things. I work upstairs directly with detectives, so I will get the referral that way. They either will be like, hey Molly, I have a victim, this new report came in, they give me the report, I read it, contact the victim. Sometimes through word of mouth. Mental health facilities, a lot of churches call me and tell me, hey, we have someone, and sometimes I just get the reports in my inbox, and I go through all the reports they would get here on Mission and see who can possibly need help, and I just do cold calls and see, hey, I'm calling for victim assistance, do you need help, and such like that. That's why the app is really important and really cool, because I'm only one person here, but this tells you the list of every single person in LA City that can assist you. They can go online, put their name, phone number, and it sends us a request so that we can contact them. And then tells them a little bit. So we do crisis intervention when people come in and they don't know what to do. So I will do immediate counseling, crisis intervention to kind of calm them down and kind of help them through that process so they can be able to report or be able to move on and see what we can do next. So that's a little bit of what we do.
I think you could write a book, honestly. She has a wide variety of things that are very interesting. Bear thought, but you wrote a book. I'm curious.
Yeah,
Experience.
there's a lot of things that go on, and you gain a lot of experience, but that only helps me to be able to help victims more and to understand them and to be open-minded. And that's the one thing, we have to be open-minded, non-judgmental, and just be there for them fully to help them move on and help them become independent again and get those resources on their own. And we also help law enforcement because they get a lot of cases and they can't spend individual time with any person. Sometimes they want to, but they have so many cases they can't. So that's when I come in and I kind of help emotionally with the victims. Yes.
So, you may have said this, I had to step out, but how does the jurisdiction work? Because you're in Mission Division, and if the person lives in Mission, and the crime happens in Mission, obviously they would see you, but if they live in Mission, crime happens somewhere else?
It depends.
Where would they go, how would that work?
So it depends. I am not technically, I'm physically here in Mission, and primarily I would be working Mission crimes. Whether they happen here, the victim works here. It's kind of works with the victims. We always leave it up to the victims. If they're more comfortable seeing me here, even though the crime happened in Devonshire or it happened in 77 Division, but they live here, they can still come see me. I am not bound by the city as far as I can only handle city crimes or felony or misdemeanors or reject cases. I can handle anything in the state of California. So if we have something they were visiting,
So it's a state.
the
it's a
program,
state,
yeah,
it's a state
the
program.
the
Yeah.
victim assistant, the victims of crime application is state funded. Not through, it's through grants and through restitution, no tax money at all. No one pays taxes for the program. It's all through restitution and grants, and it's for the entire state of California. I work for the city, but the victims that we assist can be anywhere in California.
And through the app, they can be anywhere, right? They can use
Well,
that app.
for the app, this is specific to LA City advocates. So this app was created by our program. So usually it's county run. Each county has their own victim assistance program throughout the state of California.
Okay. Sure.
We are one of the first to have our own website and own mobile app because we're LA City. We're one of the biggest people out here. We're the busiest. So we got a grant. We got funded by Verizon Wireless to create this app and this online forum to really connect with victims. When they're searching online, this will pop up for them. So yes, even with the Las Vegas shootings, with that incident, we're actually able to help with those victims because a lot of them were California residents. So we were able to get them dual.
Some of them were killed, were they not? Were California residents?
Yes. So we do assist with funeral and burial costs as well. So that's one thing that we assist a lot of things. So that's not in the app, it has everything, but we assist with funeral and burial as well. So that's something that the program ran as well. But some people I actually did help a couple of victims that were there and then came here to me that witnessed people being killed. So they needed assistance.
Yeah.
So they came here, we were able to assist them, and we were able to get them dual status because the crime happened in Las Vegas. They were able to apply with Las Vegas and California. So when it's a huge event like that, we were able to step in. But as long as they're California residents or the crime happened here, we'll be able to assist them or direct them to the correct places.
You said something about LA County, the county. Does LA County have your program as well, and you would run a parallel program to that?
So the victims of crime, so the California Victims Compensation Board is a state-funded program, and usually it's each county has their own, let's say, central office. So there is an LA County one. We're also the only city program in the entire country. Everyone else is county run, but again, because LA County is so huge, we got all of LA City. So they do the exact same thing, but they go all the way out to like Lancaster and everything. But I handle crimes in Lancaster, I've handled stuff in the Mojave Desert, I've handled a San Francisco case. So it all depends on the victim. Sometimes the crime, they may not live close to here, but just they'll contact me first and they feel more comfortable with me. So that's why we always leave it up to them. We can tell them, this facility is closer to you. We can give you the number and the name of the person. You can call them.
That's nice. Referral.
Or we can refer. Like, you know what? You live in this area. Would this be better for you if you go there? Like, you know what? No, I want to deal with you. Or I don't drive. This is closer to me, and I will give them that number. So we all work together. Any
That's
questions?
fantastic. I mean, really.
Well, I learned more today than you did the last time. You came.
Yeah, and there's a lot, and then I'm always here upstairs from 8 to 5. Usually I'm always here. Sometimes I do go to court. I do court support, and stuff like that. So sometimes I'm not always here, and I do try to attend community meetings. So if you do have a meeting at your church or at your facility, wherever it may be, you can always call me to set something up, and I can go out there and speak to the community and see what I'll go to the SLOS meetings, or if we have an event here.
Yeah.
I'll be at the open house here at Mission. Feel free to contact me, call me if you have questions or need referrals.
Sometimes the people travel around the country, for example, Las Vegas, Arizona, they stay close by. That program works for those people, this kind of system.
So each state, almost every state has their own victim assistance program. And if the crime happened in that state, they have to apply in that state first. However, if they're a California resident in that
They stay
state,
where that happened.
let's say they're California residents, but they traveled to Virginia, let's say, and the crime happened there. They would have to apply for services in the state of Virginia. However, each state, they have different services. They may not cover, let's say they only do 10 sessions of mental health. We cover 40. They would do that application, get the 10, apply with us because they're a California resident, and get the 40. So that's kind of how it would work. They have to apply there first, and whatever is not covered by them, and we do cover it, then we would cover that half. So, and it runs on a reimbursement. Everything, if they have health insurance or something else that can help them, we won't pay because we have so many victims that don't have health insurance. We have homeless victims, or something like that, that they're not able to pay. So we always say we're the payers of last resort. When you have no other way, no other anything, you come to us. And we don't hand anyone checks or money. It's on a reimbursement basis, or if they're able to, we'll contact the hospital themselves and see if we're able to pay that bill. So it's all on a case by case.
Especially for this time of the year where people is on vacation.
Yes.
So that's right. And the people is sometimes it's so panic and so intimidated to, you know, to say, what is my rights? What I have to do? And nobody assisting those
Yeah.
people.
That's why our pamphlets, on our pamphlets, it says the victim's rights. So we put all the victim's rights on there, because a lot of people don't know, when you're a victim, what are your rights? You're able to be informed of the hearings, you're able to be informed of the negotiations, of the terms that they're offering. If they're offering them a plea
Exactly.
deal, you're supposed to be notified. So on our pamphlets, that is all included, so that they know that.
On the application.
On the pamphlets. So if you go on the pamphlets here, okay, in the back, Marcy's Law, the Victim's Bill of Rights. It has all the victims' rights, what they're able to do. On the pamphlets, we also talk about how the court system works, and then they can always come in person too. Like, they're able to make victim impact statements in the courtroom, and stuff like that. So we will assist them on writing their victim impact statements. So a lot of people, they don't know the rights. Also, we have a lot of Spanish, I have a lot of Spanish-speaking people that don't know. Or sometimes they're afraid to come forward because they don't have a social.
Exactly.
That doesn't matter. They don't need to have a social to apply to their program. What they need to be is a victim of a crime. That's it. They need to be a victim of a crime. If they're currently on probation, parole, or felony, that's when it becomes different, where if you killed someone and now you're a victim and you're on, on parole for that, you may not qualify for the programs. That's the only times where we're like, you know what? Unfortunately, we may not be able to assist you at this time. But besides that, socials doesn't matter anything. As long as you're a victim of a crime, whether it's emotional or physical trauma, we will go ahead and assist. Any questions?
How many are there of people like you here? Just you?
Here at Mission, just me. Here at Mission, it's just me. But we have one person, we usually have one. 77th Division has 2 people. Van Nuys Courthouse has 2 people, and then our central office in downtown has about 10 people. But here per division, it's usually 1 person per division. I know.
Is it overloaded sometimes?
Sometimes it can be, and like Captain said, because summer is coming and it's getting hot, crime increases. Unfortunately, that does happen. So it can get busy. But that's another thing. Sometimes people don't know about our program, or sometimes we call them and they don't call us back. So sometimes I'm not able to keep on calling weekly and say, hey, do you want help? Do you want help? Do you want help? I have to, unfortunately, move on to the next victim. But they have my name, they have my phone number, and their voicemail, so they're able to call me at any time. Yes.
Thank you
Thank you.
very much. Appreciate that.
Good job.
Can I have the big?
Yeah, absolutely. And it's in, this one's in English. I have a Spanish
Okay.
one upstairs if you want it.
Yeah, please.
Yeah,
Thank
I'll
you.
bring it.
Yeah, because I want to put it on the wall of the church.
Yeah, so, and if you're community members, I suggest downloading the app, because if you're not a victim, you may know a victim, and you're able to be like, oh, here, let me get your name, your phone number, and submit the request for them.